Are we there?
I refreshed and I think we're about, there we go.
I haven't pulled up my Bougie Bear YouTube yet to see comments.
There we go. We are live.
Woohoo! We made it.
And hopefully it didn't cause any feedback because I forgot to mute my video. But I think
I'm like, I think it's muted. It's been a while.
so. We have Monica here today and also Heather. And Monica's going to show us a little bit about these keychains and purse fobs that she's been making and share some of the crafty things that she does. So everybody say hello to Monica.
Hello. Thanks for having me. Oh, it's just me now.
You can say hello and tell us a little bit about your channel and everything.
Oh, and just a warning, April will put it just on you and then forget. And then you just looking like a one-man band.
Yeah, it was a one-man show. So I'm Monica. I'm from Keeping It Real with the Millers. It's a YouTube channel that me and my daughter started. Truthfully, we haven't been doing a lot with it. My daughter has autism, so we started it for her quite a few years ago, just to kind of do some fun things and try to kind of get her out of her shell. It went well for a while, and then we ended up having some trolls and some other things happen, and it just got to be too much for her, and so we kind of walked away from it. And I've done some stuff for eBay because I'm also an eBay seller, so I've done some things on there for that. But right now I'm just busy with kids, and I got into crafting. I got a Cricut machine, what was it, like a year ago, and that's kind of taken over my life. If you're crafting, you know how that goes, like crafting becomes your everything. And so that's been kind of fun for me. I kind of got burnt out on, I mean, I have 2 eBay stores, so I still do that. I haven't listed for a while. You just sometimes get burnt out. I don't know.
Yes.
It's just like you get burnt out on looking for stuff, and then you get burnt out when you put stuff out there and then nobody buys it. Then it's just, you get burnt out. And so I just kind of, I've also had some other issues, other health stuff and house stuff. We had some house issues this summer. And so you just sometimes just need a mental break. And so that's what crafting for me has kind of done. It's helped me kind of just find my happiness again.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I need it for the winter months to get through that seasonal depression. I hate the way I feel in the winter time. All right, then. I didn't bring any thing to do today. Like I said, I've got to start on a baby shower wreath that I'm making, but I don't have supplies yet. So I'm going to do that probably tomorrow. Or
are you going to do a video of you?
I should have to bring it on next week, and that'll be what I'll be working on and let y'all see it.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
See how far along I get. She has said it needs to be boho, and that her colors are burgundy and maroon with pink.
People do baby shower colors.
Sure, but it's like a little bit more complicated than the ones I've made in the past. So I'm hoping it'll come out to her liking.
I know my friend, I've been doing stuff for, I did a gender reveal party and did all her decorations for that. And then now she's got a baby shower, and her colors for her baby shower are pink and gold. And I was showing you guys, I made goodie bags.
Put it up there so we can see. Yeah. Those are
I made 30 of these, and these are all out of cardstock and cut on my Cricut. And then I put it all together and then made little goodie bags for them.
That is super cute.
I made 30 of those, and then I've done other stuff, but she has all of it. I did a big calendar for her, to pick the date. It was probably the biggest project I've done. It was huge.
She's using her Cricut to make some flowers. And my aunt was showing me the flowers and stuff. So she's making the whole, I guess, picture backdrop.
That's the one. I haven't done the flowers, and I want to do the 3D butterflies. I haven't done that. I did do a shadow box. So I cut
That's
the Mickey out of with the cricket, and then I painted around it so it's cardstock, and then I glued different like, because one of the things I sell is Disney jewelry.
Mhm.
So sometimes the pieces are broken, and so I have a jar of them, and so I'm like, what am I going to do with those? So this was one of the ideas I came up with, was to try to make some shadow boxes and stuff out of them. But I want to try to, I know some of the people that do the shadow boxes with the flowers, with the roses and stuff, and so that's something I'd love to try to do.
Yeah, that's another great idea with the broken jewelry bits to craft with.
Yeah.
I know Anita makes those trees out of the broken jewelry.
Yeah,
Those can be so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a bunch of, it's like I just need to now kind of figure it out. It's been an interesting journey for me. So I started, I'll just kind of grab, when I still do these, but it's the junk journal these are the little golden books.
Yeah.
So you take them apart and then you create your own spine. And then you kind of decorate them. You keep the story, or some people do, not everybody, but I do. I keep the story in there, and then you add more so that people can write in them. And this is pretty like blinged out, and some of them don't. You don't have to do where it has all this fancy, or some people want where it just has the spine where they can flip through it. So I can do that too. So that's another,
like a piece of fabric there for the spine.
Yep. So this is fabric. So you cut the golden book apart, and then you create a new spine. So there's like chipboard in here, and then you glue it together, and you kind of keep it together using the fabric, and then you sew in the signatures. So this one has 2 signatures, so you can kind of see it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And sewn in. But then you add just different embellishments, but you can still like see, like there's the story in there.
Like to leave the story in there.
And there's places like if people like to journal or draw, or add pictures and stuff, they can still do that. So that's another thing I make. I need to make some more. I just made one for a friend of mine. She wanted a jungle book, and she's more kind of like, she likes like rose gold, and she's diva style, and so hers was very different than this one. So, and then I want to try to make some that are just more basic, that don't have a lot of the frill, but just more kind of a journal that people can then add that stuff to it themselves. So that's a project. That's stuff I do too.
I could see those kind of turned into some kind of activity book for kids too.
Yeah, definitely. I know people who've made them, like they want a baby book. Like you can find the little golden books that are about babies and stuff, and so then you can make it into where the mom can write stuff and make, put pictures in and kind of make it into a baby book. So I have a bunch of golden books that I need to do stuff with. So you know how it is, like when you craft, it's like, hell, this takes me a long time. I feel like I'm not getting a lot done. Like, do you ever feel like that, where it's like, I spent all day and this is all I have to show for it. What the heck, like, how am I going to get all these things that I have in my head that I want to get done?
There's time on the details because
But I mean, like, this is another thing that I have recently done. So these are little night lights. And so they were just clear, before. And then what I did, you can do it whatever you want, but you just, on the back of it, I used, like this is a pinky kind of glitter.
Mm-hmm.
I painted it as much as I wanted. And then some people use Mod Podge. I have found this. Have you ever used this? Triple thick.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love this stuff. I've just used it. I got it last week. It's like a gloss, or it's not like it's a brush on glass glaze. I love this stuff. but it gives you kind of this glaze over it, which was really nice for the glitter because it would kind of stick out. So it gave it that kind of glide. And then I printed out this vinyl. It's 2 pieces of vinyl and then put that on. So that's my daughter is doing her room in Disney. We've been doing it. So she wanted that. So I made her this.
That's cute. I like that.
And so like, here's another one that it's not done yet, but I painted this as kind of
Frosty look.
yes, it's a glittery kind of, I don't know if I like the paint, but and then I'll put something on the top on there. So that's another like cheap project too that people.
I bet you can pick those up sometimes on clearance and stuff to be
I
able
got from the Dollar Tree.
Okay, yeah.
These are cheap. So this is a cheap, and that's what I'm about is like cheap things. What can, I'm one like I keep, if I have leftover paper, I'm always keeping it because, you can use it for little pieces but then I got into these keychains and they have taken over. They are so much fun for me. I'll just show some of the ones I've made. Here's Baby Yoda. And then here's like a bigger Yoda. And these are all made out of cardstock, but they're hard, they're layers. And I'll kind of show that process. But here's one I made for so you can make them big or small.
Yeah. Those, I could see those being just as trendy as like the wooden ones with the names on them. Yeah.
Like the kind that we all made for our dads for Father's Day in elementary school.
I didn't make
You didn't do that?
I made
What kind of childhood did you have?
I don't know. So that was a little dream catcher. Those are cute.
Yeah. Little unicorn dream catchers. Here's just like a regular. So then sometimes what you can do if you don't. So this is like a print and cut. So on Cricut, and there's other like there's a Brother or Silhouette. There's some other ones where you print out the image and then you have it cut it out. So then you're not putting each piece on there. So that's what these are.
And for the ring, do you add that on in Design Space to cut out?
Yeah. So in Design Space, you can flatten your image. So if you have an SVG file in Design Space, or if you bring in even a clip art, you like this was a SVG file. So these were all little pieces. So I made a big one of this for somebody. But what you do is you flatten it. And when you flatten it, that makes it so then it becomes and you'll see where it becomes a print file. So it'll print and then it'll cut it out and, around. So what I do is, because I don't want every little tiny thing cut out like it would with SVG, I create kind of an outline and then I flatten that with my image. So then it just prints out, it just print and cuts the, this size that I want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yours can cut the wood too, right? Which
I have the maker. It can cut like up to a certain thickness of wood. I haven't cut wood with it yet.
Right.
There's certain woods. It can cut fabric, which I haven't done that yet. It can do felt. It can cut a lot of different.
I messed up some felt with mine, but mine will cut felt. I was just using the wrong blade.
Yeah, you gotta have the rotary blade, I think. Yeah, there's a lot I saw, but sometimes you don't want, like this one, I've been playing to see what I like. So sometimes you want the image on both sides and sometimes you don't. So what another option is you just add some really pretty glitter cardstock that will kind of match your front and just do that. Now you could do, if you're making it for somebody and they wanted their name, you could add their name then on the back here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Here's another one, a little toilet paper. That kawaii stuff, people like this. The one thing I learned about this one, so then what you do, you got to have a place where your key hooks. So you got to add a shape, whether it be a circle or a heart or something. So then that's where you're, that's the one thing you got to do.
And is that when the welding part comes in? You weld
it together. Yep, welding. And then what you do is, so when you have, so this is like, I'll show you. I'll just finish on. This is a big one I did for a friend for my nail tech. Big, huge one I did for her. That's the one thing I'm learning about the keychain. Like some people like them really big, and then some people want them smaller. And so I'm learning about the sizes of them. So what I did was I got an order. So I thought, oh, I'll cut everything out. I don't want to cut it out on here because it's really loud and takes a long time. But usually I'll design what kind of keychain I want. I'll design the front and the back, how I want it to look, and then figure out my paper. So she wanted a shamrock keychain, and she wanted it to say, if you touch my shamrocks, I'll kick you in the potatoes. So this was kind of the design I had. So this is on cardstock, on glitter cardstock, and then I wanted it to have a background. So that was kind of how I started. So that was my front. So I figured that out. And then my back, I wanted it to kind of have a design, but not the same thing. So this was going to be my back. So I needed something to go behind there. So I created the same shape, used the same shape, just made it bigger so that these would fit right over it. Whoops.
Right. And these would be a great way to make custom ornaments and stuff too.
Yeah. You could do a lot of things. So then you just go like that. But then you see here, I made it a little bigger, and then I added a circle and I welded it. And then I added a smaller circle and kind of lined it up there. And then you click over everything and you hit slice, and that's what's going to give you your hole. It's going to cut that for you.
Okay.
So the biggest thing that I've learned with the keychains, because it's all out of cardstock, is that you have to have it be a certain thickness so it holds up. So I always have kind of a center core is what I call it. And I just use either a black or a white cardstock. Sometimes I'll do a color, but usually a black or a white works pretty well. And you want it, I mean, you can see it's not super thick. I have a white that's a little thicker, but sometimes I'm learning that makes it harder to work with. Here, I'll show you. Because you don't always get it super, I mean, it looks all right on here, but you want it as super lined up as you possibly can get it. But you can see here, I didn't get it. I think one, because it was super huge, made it a little bit harder. So what you do is, so you can use glue, a glue stick. So I have the Cricut maker that cuts these out. You could cut them out by hand, or if you have like a die cutting machine or something, you could do that. But I do have the Cricut maker, so that does make it. Or you use Mod Podge.
Yeah.
So for some type of glue, you want some type of adhesive, and what you're going to start with is gluing. So I cut out like anywhere from 5 or 6 of what I call is my core. So this is your core. And so you're going to glue that, and then you're going to line it up and make sure that, everything's lined up. So you want to use which I'm not lining it up very well.
You're going to pretty much paste the whole top of it. And
You want to paste, you want to get glue everywhere. You want it to, because you want it to hold, you want it to stick together. So that's what you would start to do is you'd start to do your core. And like I said, you use a glue stick. You can use Elmer's glue, I know or you brush it on with Mod Podge. If you're doing the Mod Podge, what I've learned is when you do a 2-layer, so this would be a 2-layer, right? You're going to want that to dry, because the Mod Podge, if you use it, especially with paper, it gets it really wet. And but it's a Cricut.
You might get that wrinkled kind of effect to it or something.
Yeah, so you want it to dry so that it doesn't wrinkle and it's real flat. So I like using some of the other glues because it doesn't do that. But, some people, that's what they have. So use that. You can do that. So you get all these layers will become one. I'm just going to kind of, and you got to make sure that, because one thing with images, like, they look the same, but then you got it the wrong way. So make sure when you're gluing it the right way. So then you got your core. So you can already see like how thick that would make it, right?
Yeah.
So then from there, once that's, then you're going to start to, oops, that's the wrong side. See, that's what I'm saying. Then you're going to glue, start gluing what people are going to see. And that's where, you really want that to be lined up. So you glue that on. And then, like on this one, I was going to do, this will be centered in there.
Nice, yeah.
And then on the other side, I'll do the green. And so in Cricut, you have a thing where you can take an image and you can flip it so that it will, now I'm going to tell you, when you flip it, you can't flip words. I mean, you can, but you're not going to be able to read it. So images are a lot easier, but some people still, I know, like some of the groups I follow and the people who make them, they still will flip the name, even though it'll just be on the back side. You know what I mean? But it's not going to come out. And I don't like the way that looks, so I don't do that. But with images, it's easy, and you can flip it, And so you do that, so then you can put it on the back side.
Yeah,
and
that's what I did with the earrings.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I just learned that this month, how to do that, and I'm like, oh, I love this, because especially like when making cards and stuff, you want it to be the same size, or cards are difficult to make sometimes, like with the back, but. So then you would glue this, which is going to be more difficult because you've got the little parts. So you want a glue that's going to dry clear, so that, if you do get a little glue through these little rivets or these parts, that show that it's not going to be, looking funky and white. But then that's what it would look like. So then once you have it glued, what I do is I'll let it sit for like overnight, because I want it to be really glued down, and then I'll go and check it and make sure like nothing's coming unglued, and if it is, I'll put some other glue in there. Like one of my favorite glues is art glitter glue. This is not the bottle it comes in. This is what and then I bought one of these from Amazon that have the little small tips. And that stuff is amazing. I love that stuff. But that's what I said, like any glue you have, truthfully, works to do this project. So once you have it glued, depending on what kind of paper you have, the glitter paper, you don't have to Mod Podge over it if you don't want to, but you want to seal it before you're going to put. So this is like, a lot of people use some people use epoxy. I don't want to mess with epoxy. I've heard so many awful things about it. Like, I don't have ventilation. I don't want to wear a big mat, So this has kind of been my alternative, and it's UV resin.
Okay.
You can get this there's all different kinds. You can get them on Amazon. I know a girl, she buys hers from, what's that site called? AliExpress. Takes a while to come, but it's cheaper. I might actually buy some from there. But the biggest thing is it needs to be hard, the hard type. So that's the one thing to look for. You want it to be the hard type. So when you get
so this one, you don't have to mix it together or anything like that?
No, you don't have to mix it, and that's what's nice. It has a smell, but it's not as bad as epoxy. Like, it's not as chemically as that, right? You don't have to wear the mask and stuff. I do wear gloves just because I have sensitive skin. I know lots of women that don't, when they touch it, but I don't, I'm always washing my hands then. So I bought a box of gloves. You can get plastic gloves. They're not that expensive. Yeah. But then what you are going to need if you're going to do a UV resin is you're going to need a UV light. And this is what hardens it, because you put it in here and you put the light on. This one was like $30. You want to make sure that whatever light you get, it's at least, I think it's like 45 watts. This one's 75 watts. Okay. So, but they're not that expensive. And you can do a lot of stuff, I guess, with UV resin. This is all I've tried.
Like the things at the nail salon that they put your finger in.
Yep. Yeah. My nail tech, she's like, I'm like, I gotta buy another one. She goes, I might have one. I'm like, well, you need to look, because I'm doing these. I'm running out of room on these. So, and you can get small ones or big one, it's just depending. There's lots of different ones, but you want one, you can get one that has like less wattage. It's just going to take you longer. So for that one, I think that's a 75 watt one for me to do. So when I get this all done, right, and it's good, then I do my UV. I take my resin, I put it in a little cup, and then I use like a foam brush. And I've tried all different. I have silicone brushes. I've tried everything. I love these little foam brushes, and I found like it's a pack of like 12 for like $2.99 at Hobby Lobby. So I just have a big thing of them now because after you're done, then you throw them away because they get hard. Yeah. But so you brush that on, and then so I'll brush it on my front, and then I'll kind of go around my sides, and then I put it in my thing, and I just keep pressing the 60 seconds. And you'll feel it, I'll check it, kind of move it around because sometimes some will get, so when you put it on, you want to make sure whatever your backside isn't running down because you're going to see that. So you want to kind of brush that up. So sometimes if you get some on the backside, it might stick. So you kind of got to push it, around and move it around so it don't stick too hard. But you just keep pressing that button until it gets, so you hear that it's hard. So if you touch it and it feels sticky, it's not done. You didn't do something wrong. Especially, but I don't know about the other kinds. I'm talking about the hard because I think there's other.
You think it takes for it to harden it?
Yeah, to harden it, and so sometimes it takes longer depending on how thick you put your layer on there. And so you want to keep doing it until it's not sticky anymore, and then it's hard. And then this is hard. And this is all card stuff.
30 minutes or so, maybe?
No, I haven't probably the longest. Like this one was so big. This one probably took me maybe 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, so you got an instant craft there too, done, ready to go.
Right. Yeah. And that's what's like the epoxy, like you got to let that stuff sit like 24 hours, 48 hours for that to harden. So that's what I like about and a lot of the other crafters are liking about this UV resin is you would be done in 10, 15 minutes, Mm-hmm. So it's been a fun
with jewelry making too. That could be something like quick.
So some of these people I watch, I like the keychain. That's what I like to make. When am I making some barrettes and stuff? But this has been a fun craft for me. You can do some fun stuff. I do little kind of see if I can show you some of the personalized ones I've done, but yeah. Some of them, they make earrings out of this stuff, necklaces. I mean, you can do some really cool things. And so here's one I did.
I'm interested in doing the bangles with dried flowers and things like that in them.
That's cute.
That's so cute.
Let me see. I did a couple other, and these are custom ones. Here's one of the first custom ones I did. Whoops.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a bunch of like women that like here's another one.
Oh yeah, these are cute. I like these with the ladies on.
Their backs are like, so she wanted white, so that's a white glitter.
That's like the backside, or
yeah. Then the backside is just that's black glitter. So then the name is done in glitter cardstock. But this image, the girl, she's done in a print and cut. So, and it just cuts her out. So I don't want everything intricate, but I want there to be, so I just have it cut out, around her. But yeah, so those have turned out, those have been fun to make. Oh, here's another one I did. I have a bunch of nursing ones, nursing SVG files. Different hairstyles and different hair colors and stuff.
Yeah, and those would be cute for them to clip on their little badge things. And stuff. Yeah.
That's another thing I want to try is I got some of those little round badge things. I want to try doing some like rhinestones and stuff on those, but then making up like little like the little nurse thing and, making it small and then putting that on there and stuff. So doing some different things like that with them.
Yeah. Lynn mentioned use the resin with the hair chopsticks that I was making. And that'd be a good idea to try it that way. Cause then I could just dip down in there and then put them up under the light, let them dry really quick.
Did we miss any? Yeah, it's a huge, Cindy said, it's a huge, I belong to a couple of groups that this is what they do. And, one of the girls that started one of the groups, she started making these by doing with epoxy, and it would take her forever to have them dry, so change into the UV resin, when, it made a huge difference. And then on top of it, it's safer, for you,
Lydia said, I just got here. Did I miss baby Yoda? I think she wants to see.
Okay. Now, any of the keychains, they're all available. You can follow me on Instagram. It's just Monica Miller. And I also have a store Facebook group. I don't know how we can give that to anybody. I can try to see if I can do that, but where I sell all of these, I also do custom orders. I'll ship, but here's one of the baby Yodas.
Am I a part of your Facebook page for that?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it really.
I was gonna look it up. And what's it called again?
It's Monty's Market, but it's always hard to find for some reason. Let me see if I can just get it real quick.
It popped up right there. It's a butterfly pink background.
Yeah, did you get it?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. I'm gonna put that in the chat.
Right, so here are the two Yodas. They are so cute. So I got these SVGs from somebody, and I made a Christmas card out of them for my son. He loved, so it was like this, and then he opened it up. So he liked. I think I have a picture of that. He still has that in his room. And then this weekend I was doing had to make a shadow box for my daughter, a 3D one of Marie from Aristocats, that with lights. It had to have LED lights. I'm telling you, that was a whole.
I bet.
I forget what I was doing. Oh, I was looking for the card. See, I'm getting old. I'm losing my mind. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, here.
Well, Heather's got more to lose. She forgot a lot of people.
The card folded up. My phone does weird. But then inside it said Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
And then I did a, let's see, my phone don't like me. But it has lightsabers on the side.
Uh-huh.
But I'll try to see. My daughter, I didn't take any photos. I guess I wasn't the happy light box turned out, but she really liked it. So that was her. Can you see it? Is there too much of a glare?
Is that a video clip of it moving? And
yeah, with the light.
And so where do you get the light part of it?
So it's LED lights. I got it from Amazon. I don't know if they're all like that. I wanted them to be a little flatter. The ones I got ended up having a curve to them, but I bet it had a plastic protectant on it. So I bet that's good. So what I did was in the box, it had a strip, a adhesive. So I glued or I taped it all around the inside of the box. Well, I didn't think when I made it, I needed to cut the image smaller then, but I was like, I'm not cutting all this again, I'm doing this again. So I'm putting this in here. It's just for her.
Right.
I definitely learned, but she loves it. She's like, I don't care. It looks awesome to me. But then, yeah, so what I did was I just went around. So I used the light. It's $10 for the light kit. And then in the corner, I just cut a little bit from the backing so that the plug-in came out the back. And yeah, it worked out really good. It turned out cute, but it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work.
I joined some Cricut Facebook groups, and I know during Christmas, everybody was doing the stars that had to cut out that you could put on top of your tree or hang as a lantern.
Yeah.
Those were really pretty.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the patience to try it.
Right there with you.
So I was trying to see if I have a picture of Like the biggest project, like I've done like baby shower stuff, like how the glare on my phone is awful, but I did a huge for my friends. Well, here's another big project I did with the Dreamcatcher. So this is all paper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you showed me that one when you were in the middle of doing it, didn't you?
Yeah, that one was fun. That one's probably about 30 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Cindy said that the baby Yoda, I think people are having trouble selling that on Etsy unless it's licensed Disney.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with Etsy.
I'm sure people are putting it on t-shirts and stuff like that.
People are, but I'm just gonna do local craft fairs and stuff like that, and just
Right.
try to do my own. And the thing that I'm learning is like Etsy is like you got to have a following. You got to really work, and I get that you got to work your business, but not all of us have the time to do that. So
you got to work at being cool on Etsy.
Yeah. And so what my hope is, I've gotten some business just around here by people seeing them, trying to, build my Facebook page, asking people just to share it, even on Instagram, posting things on there and hoping, that will, but also just what I realize is trying to have more items for at the craft fairs when I go this summer and seeing what sells and what doesn't sell, and I'm going to have a book of all the custom, because I made a custom calendar for a baby shower. The thing that was huge. I can't find any of the pictures for it though, but it was
all the images of the baby shower stuff you had done. You had posted them on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, here it is.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So
here we go.
Let's see if I go like that. Well, I don't know why I won't make it bigger. And maybe it will not.
There you go. Yeah.
That's a custom. I mean, I had to create all that myself. I put it
on. Yeah. I like what you can do with these machines, like when you really got like a wedding or a birthday party. And I've got my daughter's 16th coming up, and I told her, I was like, yeah, I got the machine, so we just got to figure out how to make whatever we're gonna do. And we're probably gonna do like a movie theater candy table and kind of like a sleepover kind of theme, because she said she's not really wanting any kind of like, here's the princess at 16 and all that kind of stuff. She doesn't want that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I see people, they make chip bags. I haven't, but you can, you find it, larger than mat. I've done so many larger than mats. I love doing those. They're a lot of work, but they're fun to do, and a lot of it is just taking time.
Thank you. Lunch is here.
For a minute, I'm like, I wish there was a man walking behind me to bring me lunch. But I'm like, oh, that's right. I'm still single. That ain't happening. Now, I did want to bring up one thing. Now, this is something I just learned. So we all know the E6000, right?
Yeah.
So there's lots of talk about like just how dangerous and how, like, I really worry about products I use. I don't use this very often, but now there's some things I want to do. So it's like, oh, I'm going to have to use this stuff. But the cancer that it can cause, and cancer runs in my family. I've already had cervical cancer, so I really am cautious about that. So I've been trying to find what else can you use besides E6000, especially like for rhinestones or beads or jewelry, that kind of stuff that will work, right? That will make it stay. So someone mentioned, have you guys seen this?
Gorilla Clear Grip.
Yep.
I hadn't seen that. Maybe that's kind of like their version of liquid nails or something.
It is actually, if you look at the package, it says right on it, like E6000.
Oh, okay.
But when I read it's 100% waterproof. It's a permanent bond, holds in seconds. You can use it for metal, glass, fabric, wood, ceramic, leather, paper, plastic, and more is what it says. I have not used it yet, so I just want to put that. But I've watched some people who have. And it doesn't say anything about, I mean, it's still a chemical, but it doesn't say anything about warnings about cancer. So I'm kind of excited to see if this makes a difference. Now, if anybody else has products that are safe or that have worked, you know, I would love to know what those are. You know,
I can go get that jewelry one that I have, but I have not honestly looked it up to see, you know, whether it causes any problems or anything. But I can show it to
you. Know, like this one, you open it and it smells like a chemical. It smells like you're gonna die, right? It smells like I should not have feeling this shit.
I don't like how long it takes to dry either. I like something that's gonna instantly hold because I don't want it to fall off, and that'll drip off.
Yeah.
The high you get from the glue is half the fun.
I don't know about that. When I leave, like feeling like I have fuzzy brain. Something wrong with that product.
Well, I'm very impressed with everything you've made. It's so very clever.
It's been a fun journey, that's for sure. You know,
That's
and
great.
I keep learning new things and new tricks, and
it's called Aleen's Original Jewelry and Metal Glue.
Yeah, Aleen's makes good products. Aleen's also has their version of like the Mod Podge, you know, the stuff, and it's a good quality product.
And Cindy made something last night too that she said was really good. Cindy, can you put that in the chat for us too? I think it was kind of like a cement or something.
So that one is Aleen's.
Mm-hmm.
What was it called again?
Aleen's Original Jewelry and Metal Glue. This is what I repair rhinestones and stuff with, and I've used it with my jewelry making. Like when we were talking about the backing and the front, when I made these little faux leather earrings, I used it to glue the pieces together.
Now, does it have a smell? Does that have a smell when you use it?
Yeah, it smells like and feels like super glue.
Okay.
That's what it's like super glue to me. I can't tell the difference between the consistency, but
She said GSH Hypo.
There we go. Yeah. GS Hypo Cement. That's what she said. And she said for jewelry. So it must have one that's specifically for jewelry. And
where do you buy that?
Got it. I'm not sure if she got it on Amazon or if that was from the craft store.
Does that have a smell too? Yeah, I like glue.
It does.
These Gorilla Glue.
I haven't seen those. That's just for kids.
Glue sticks. These are amazing. Now I don't know if they make one that's not for kids, but this one is amazing. I love this. And I do love my glue sticks, but for some of these paper stuff, when it's this small, you can't use the hot glue stuff.
I don't know where I put them, but I've got some of the jumbo
that from Amazon
glue sticks that are purple.
Yeah, this one's purple too.
Oh,
so this one clears. This one it dries clear, but it has a really good hold. Oops.
Uh-huh.
Now, another glue stick I really like is this UHU stick, which I get from Amazon. But this stuff, it's clear, or it's like a white, but it dries clear. But this stuff works great too.
Cindy says she gets it on Amazon. She said it is flammable.
That's not good.
Most of this stuff is going to be flammable. Nail polish is. And sometimes nail polish can be a good way to hold things too. Like when I was making the hair sticks with the top sticks, that, you can coat it just like a clear epoxy with the clear polish and stuff over glitter. And
yeah, I know. I bought some. So I get gel nails done. So I bought the same brand that my nail tech used, some gel clear polish. So that's one thing I want to try too. Instead of the UV resin, could I use that? Because that's got a nice brush. You have a little more control over it and see, because your nails get hard when you put that gel coat on there, and they're waterproof. I mean, the resin is too. So that's something else. It's fun to try different products and different things to see what works and what doesn't work. You know, try to find
find a good balance.
Yeah.
Let's see, it has several formulas for jewelry, fabric, etc., but it comes in tiny tube with a needle tip dispenser.
Oh, that's nice.
The needle tip. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're talking about the needle tip. That is going to help you with those rhinestones, because one of the biggest things is when you get a little bit of that glue on your finger and then the top
you're done.
and it's like, I throw that one away.
Right. I know. I do love my well, I use these I got all different ones, but these guys like for picking up rhinestones and beads and stuff, but they also
ones for the nails to put the rhinestones on.
Yeah.
I have those too.
One of those, and it works even with paper. So when I got little things of paper I got to stick somewhere, I use those.
Good idea. I did learn that this Eileen's though don't glue pearls on with it. It has a weird reaction and eats the nacre off the pearls.
Oh, that's no good.
So don't use it with pearls. I don't know if it do it to fake pearls, but it did them. I think it had a chemical reaction with the real pearls. So Heather.
Yeah.
Laugh. You know you always got some funny story to tell us or something.
I'm trying to think of anything interesting that's happened lately.
No?
I'm thinking here. Trying to come up with something. Something so quiet, you know, and what is it like here? Let me see. It's kind of rainy out, so the rain is here to melt down the snow, so then it can freeze and turn to ice. We all love that. But so it's all cloudy, rainy, but it's above freezing today.
Yeah,
yeah. So
how much snow have you guys gotten, Heather? I think we got about 4 feet here.
Ours hasn't really been piling up that much. We'll get a few inches, then it gets dirty and ugly, and then it thaws and goes away, and then we'll get a few more inches. So we haven't had any like major snowstorms where it dumps. Probably the biggest one I've ever seen in my years of living in Utah was about 2 feet. It's done more, but that's what I think I've seen. So, but
I'll be right back.
So yeah, it's just kind of drizzly, gray out. My window's right here. Look out the front of the out to the neighbors. Like one of those crazy ladies that watches my neighbors. I'm here in my craft room. But yeah, everything's been really chill. You know, Dwayne had his birthday. Both my oldest son and his wife, their birthdays are Ian's birthday is just in a few days. On the 23rd. No, that's just a couple of days. Yeah. Is Kat's birthday, my daughter-in-law. Okay. And then on the 24th is Ian's birthday. And I will have been a mother for 27 years. That it seems so really long. And I think hopefully I learned a thing or two, you know. But and then our wedding anniversary coming up. So yeah, we have Christmas and then just keep going with, you know, things to spend money on.
Show them what Dwayne despises that got you for your anniversary.
Okay, so as everybody knows, Dwayne hates jewelry. You're
the devil.
Yep. I can take or leave it. I don't wear my wedding ring because I put on, you know, a couple of pounds. But so on the 30th will be 22 years, and Dwayne. So this is like the fanciest thing I own because my wedding ring doesn't have any diamonds or stones in it. It's just a band. But so he got this from me from Sandy. Beautiful. And I love it. And it's got, as we were talking about, it's got one of those fancy clasps, and I don't know how to get it off one-handed. So there it is. It's
so pretty, right?
And yeah, and purple's my favorite color. So it was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sweet.
And yes, yep. I didn't know he was getting it, so I was really excited. But that's pretty much all of it. Yeah, winter comes in just hibernation mode. Just think if we could really go into hibernation mode for the winter, how awesome that would be.
I would love that.
Yeah. Think of all the weight we could lose.
I'd be asleep most of the time.
Yeah, heck, yeah. I'd go for hibernation if I could pull it off. I kind of do.
Cindy said, "Don't tell us that. You will ruin his bad boy image."
And
He must be real busy today. I hadn't seen him pop in the chat at all.
he's doing an on-site at a hospital he's never been to before. So yeah, he is busy. And
Ignoring
he's kind of been taking a bit of a break from social media stuff lately, I guess. I don't know. He doesn't care for winter either. So
I don't think many people do though.
no, if you like to ski, but most people who live in Utah don't ski. People from out of state come here to ski. Snow isn't fun when you live in it.
No.
Only if you get to visit it, then it's like, oh wow, it's so beautiful, and then you move to Utah and you hate it. So,
I only care for it for maybe an hour or two, and then I'm done. I'm over it.
yeah, absolutely. I could go for the rest of my life seriously and never see snow again and not even feel bad about it. That is how much I hate it. I have not purposefully touched snow since the 80s.
Wow.
Yep. That is how much I hate.
Have you ever used that Eileen's embellishment? Oh, I'll be right back. I don't know how to mute this.
Well, I'm eating. I was so hungry.
And yep, I'm seeing that about so what how you say it, is it Perini? Or is it, I don't have my reading glasses on, so I can't really see it. Huh?
Pearl Nini.
Oh, now I can see it. Pearl Nini. Okay.
Okay.
Talking about purple. Yes, I love purple. I'm even wearing periwinkle today. I don't really wear a whole lot of purple,
I see that.
but I do love it.
Oh, let me put you.
And
on my phone.
And
Jewel it.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't
It's embellishing glue.
Hmm.
Permanent bonds, jewels, and accents.
I might try that one.
I wonder if anybody's tried that.
Cindy, how can you love the snow?
Where she lives.
She lives in the South now. Snow is cold and wet and expensive.
How much snow have you guys gotten in Michigan? Michigan's not too far from me. What are you eating there? That looks good.
You eating those
Five Guys burgers?
Oh. I need me a Five Guys. I wish we had one here. We have to travel out of town for Five Guys.
I used to live by one.
There's more? He's bringing you more?
That was some jewelry.
Oh, he's bringing you food and jewelry.
And Perlini, she's talking about crocheting. She should come on here and show us what she crochets. My daughter knits, and I have several Afghans for my grandma and grandpa because they crocheted. But it's my daughter left it here, but it was what a coworker gave it. Here, let me grab it.
Yeah, last night.
So I thought this was so
same jewelry that I tried to get some more.
Isn't that cute?
That's cute. You did that?
Oh no, not me. This is coworkers of Natalie's, and she, like I said, she showed it to me and left it here, so I kept it out for her to remember to take it home. But I thought that was cute. And so Natalie, when she's dead, I'll show you if she ever makes me one. But it's like DMC floss, what gauge or whatever you call it at that point. And she's knitting bookmarks, and so we had the whole conversation of what she should use to keep it. I don't know if it's around anymore. If anybody's ever heard of Stiffy,
You can spray it.
Is that, do they have? Wow, I haven't seen it. I'll tell her about that. I haven't seen it like that before. But so she's the one who knows how to knit.
There's a spray you can get, and then whatever you spray, like lace. Say you wanted lace to be stiff or something, then you can spray the lace, and then it'll stiffen it up.
Cool. Okay.
So there's a brand called Beacon, BEAK or CON, I think it is, has some, and then I think Eileen's has some too. And then you just spray it on there. That's like Mod Podge now has a spray Mod Podge.
Wow. So much has changed.
And it's just the pump, so it's not that, like, I can't stand the aerosol stuff, right? And these ones aren't, they're just pump ones. So I just bought some of that of that to try too.
That's cool.
Because if it's not the aerosol, then you don't have to worry about where you're doing it. And like when you live places like some of us do, we all can't live in warm places like April. Going outside isn't always an option.
Yes. But the knitting and crocheting gene skipped right over me. My mom did a little bit. My grandma did amazing work, and now Natalie has been teaching herself. And I just didn't get that gene. So I can tell you all about dye lots and old ladies freaking out that they couldn't find enough yarn from the same dye lot, but I sold it. That's it, though.
I didn't pick up the crocheting either. My mom knew how to do it, but I didn't watch her and learn how to do it.
And there were several things had I paid closer attention to. You don't think about that when you're young, though.
Mm-mm.
And I saw an article one time. It was about a guy who, when he rides on the subway, he crochets, and that it tends to get attention because he's a man crocheting. And I just paused to think. I'm like, oh, how weird, because not a man crocheting. The fact that when my grandpa started slowing down, then because he did woodwork and gardening and that kind of old man stuff. Not that you have to be old, but when you retire. And then when he started slowing down, my grandma taught him how to crochet, and so he did the mile a minute. You do the long strips, you put them together, beautiful work. And so I never gave any thought to a man crocheting because I grew up with my grandpa doing it. And so when I read the article, I'm like, I don't know, is that it would have really called my attention to the fact that a man was crocheting,
Mm-hmm.
And had I seen him, so I was just kind of like, well, that's cool, that I had that, see my, I don't know, just one of those gender crossing things, something wild and crazy like that, I guess. But
I've never known who did it.
So,
Is that
You mean what?
Yeah, what April said,
Yes, April, we know that food is good.
Warm, so it's got to be warm.
The dinner that Dwayne made last night was gross, and so I don't have anything to eat today because I threw out the leftovers. It doesn't happen very often. And yesterday, I had Sunday dinner leftovers for breakfast. Let me tell you, do not eat pot roast for breakfast.
Why not?
Stomachache for the rest of the day.
Oh,
Like, why not? That doesn't even sound like a good breakfast. Sorry.
It was like
Wake
quite
up,
a
but I love pot roast, but it's not like I wake up and like, oh, I want some pot roast.
Potatoes and meat has me under its spell anytime.
It's because you've never had Dwayne's pot roast. It has pepper. He does the pressure cooking thing, and there's pepperoncinis in it, which sounds really weird, but it's so good.
I bet it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and because if I had to cook for myself, well, maybe I'd be able to lose weight.
I would just last night.
Oh, last night it had been a freezer meal, and we all gave it the thumbs down. It had sun-dried tomatoes in it that turned really sour, though. And then the chicken was just kind of sawdust, kind of sour sawdust. It was.
Are you sure it was food?
No, it really wasn't. And we're like eating it. We're like, this is really, really good. The sad thing is, it smelled wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So you're all excited and then you eat it.
They add all these things that make you want it, but
yeah, it had rosemary in it, and
I don't like rosemary.
I love rosemary.
I think I'm very particular with my rosemary, and not a whole lot of it. And I did have some rosemary essential oil from something, and I had read to put essential oils in the laundry because Dwayne makes our laundry soap because Jeremy's allergic to everything. But anyway, Dwayne said I could not put rosemary essential oil in the laundry because then he smelled like a Thanksgiving dinner. But I didn't know what to do with it.
But honestly, it smells more, like eucalyptus and that kind of thing. It doesn't really smell like food. I don't think about rosemary and think food.
Maybe had it been with the right combination of other scents,
Mom said, poor rosemary.
Rosemary getting the short end of the stick. Oh, okay. Here's my one story. It was last week. A neighbor called and asked if I wanted to join in with a church activity. And for 3 hours, I didn't swear. I didn't make any sexual references.
Wow.
Absolutely no, that's what she said. And I was completely appropriate for 3 hours. I came home, I was so tired. I thought about what I said before I said it for 3 hours. So that was my big story.
I told you had one.
Well, since we were talking about scents, it made me think of a story that happened this summer with my son. So we had a garage sale this summer. And so he came out and nobody was out there. And he's like, there's a smell out here. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. He's like, I don't know either. He goes, was the old lady here? And I'm like, there's been some. It's a garage sale. Was she wearing perfume? I'm like, possibly. So then later that night we go inside and he's like, was she in the house? Because I smell it. And I'm like, no, I don't. We didn't let anybody in the house. Then the next day he wakes up and he's like, Mom, I figured it out. I know what the old lady who smells like she goes to lots of garage sales but wearing flowery perfume smell is coming from. And I'm like, where? And he's like, me. It's me. I smell like this. I'm washing my clothes and stuff, and it's something different. I smell like an old lady that goes to lots of garage sales. And I'm like, how do you know it was you? He goes, because I laid down and I could smell it. I'm like, why was she in my room? I asked my mom, so my mom had been like had gotten some like gain samples or something, and so he's a teenage boy, so she was trying to help with some odor issues.
So he doesn't like the bone smell.
He's like, I don't, he doesn't like gay. He's like, you smell like an old lady that goes to lots of thrift stores and garage sales. He's like, I can't be smelling like that.
It's very perfumey.
It is very perfumey, but it really gets rid of like body odor smell.
If
Baking
something
soda, just throw some baking soda in there with it.
yeah, something starts getting funky, I do Tide because the laundry soap that our homemade stuff, it is fine, but if it's something that needs some serious attention, then I gotta go Tide with it.
My kids have too sensitive skin, so like Morgan, she couldn't do that. She broke out from the Gain stuff, so we threw it away. But he can't handle Tide. Neither one of them. They break out in rashes from it. So we use all, and it's worked great. But then now they're, especially he's a teenager now, and it's like.
So my teenage son can step out of the shower and still stink.
How does that happen?
Part of the problem.
Yeah, wash yourself.
So prior to the problem, like I said about the sensitive skin, because Jeremy's the one in our family that has the sensitive skin, and so he, if he uses very powerful soap, then that irritates his skin. Yeah. So it's like, oh great, and he has really thick hair. But he has to use baby shampoo because of how sensitive his scalp is. And you can get like expensive, fancy, salon shampoos for sensitive scalps. I am not paying $20 for bottle shampoo for my teenage son. Forget it.
It's just the boy smell.
Milk soap that y'all have?
What was that?
Did he try any of the goat's milk soap that y'all have?
And, I gave it all away to neighbors. This is how lazy I was. So my neighbors, this is the best street I've ever lived on because people are neighborly and they wave hello and they mind their own business. It's wonderful. First street in Utah I've ever lived on that mind their own business. So anyway. So, like I said, being lazy, when people would bring stuff to me, then I would give them a bar of soap. And Dwayne had printed up "Merry Christmas" from the Hale family on it, and stickers I put on, and I gave all my soap away. So, but last year I didn't give anything and had neighbor guilt.
I think the earthy one would combat the body smell, and then those are like really good for your skin. The goat.
Dwayne got like as kind of a joke from one of his brothers, some kind of man soap, and I put it in his sock drawer. I didn't know it's kind of a weird smell. I didn't know if he was going to use it. So, so yeah. Here,
teenagers just have a smell. Especially boys. That just
I thought my brother was smelly until I had boys. Then I'm like, ugh, they smell too. But something I read that when you are related to someone, their body odor is not appealing to you for reproductive reasons. That nature put that in there.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm thinking, there's a whole lot of it. I guess I just put that on the list. Not really sure what to say about that subject. So yeah, Dwayne's, I'm reading here on the chat about homemade soap. Dwayne's been making soap for at least a decade. He has to make it because it gives me an asthma attack. So we have a KitchenAid just for the laundry soap. It's out in the garage.
I like the one where you would lay down the bar of soap and then
I agree with you, Willow. And
Willow said, amazing how that teen boy smell morphs into man scent that attracts women.
yes, very
It
weird.
made me think like, how is this what some of the guys when I was younger dated smelled like? They were like bother me then. And I was like, ugh.
You know what I think about boys, like when I was younger, most of them had like sweaty hair. So that's what I thought of when I thought of boys is like that sweaty head, sweaty hair, or sweaty hat smell.
Some days I walk into his room, it's like, oh my gosh, it smells like Burger King in here.
I never go into Jeremy's room. Never, ever.
Like, why does it smell like this? How do you live in this? Like,
yes. Oh.
Nuts, I gotta go. I'll be like, Mom, come in here for a minute. No, I don't want to.
No. Yeah, Jeremy doesn't ever tell me to go into his room because he knows that I would freak out. So I pretend like Jeremy's room is not a part of my house. And because, when
Which is bad.
when all my kids got to be 8, I was like, okay, your room is up to you. I have spent years teaching you how to clean your room, and it didn't mean I didn't go in there with the garbage bag once in a while, but then by junior high, then I was just like, close the door. I was never one of those mothers that went through my kids' rooms looking for stuff. Didn't have to. My kids would have just told me. So I had a boyfriend as a teenager. This is what I decided. He got in trouble because his mom was cleaning his room for him and found his liquor stash. And I was like, your mother cleans your room? He was an only child, obviously. And I was like, I am never cleaning my teenager's rooms. That's ridiculous. He's never going to go out.
I was cleaning up after my oldest son, and he had this little, I think it's Harry Potter. So it was like this little toolbox looking thing. And no, it's Pirates of the Caribbean. And inside of that, I just happened to open it up. I was going to throw some little random things in it that I had picked up.
He had his weed in there, didn't he?
Some of the miniature liquor bottles inside of it. And they were from my refrigerator. They had gotten them out of the refrigerator. They've been in there so long, I didn't even realize they were missing. But yeah, hidden in his little toys.
No, I was sure it would have been his weed stash.
I just never would want to walk in and catch my son looking at porn or watching porn. That's always, my biggest fear. There's some things as a single mom, it's like, oh please, I never want to have to deal with it. In front of his face, so I'm just like, Dad, you can have that conversation.
Yeah. When ignorance is bliss.
You got problems or need help,
and
you need condoms, I will buy them. Hopefully not anytime soon, but having a boy is a lot different as a single mom.
Yeah. I did. I did tell my son that the laundry lady had, because I never claimed to be the one who does the laundry. It's the laundry lady, and that the laundry lady had told me about a receipt that she found, and I told him I was happy to hear he was using protection, and good job on remembering the lube. Mm-hmm. That's how I handle that. Because I had asked my mother, what do I do? And keep in mind, I was brought up religious, my mother uber conservative, and she said, whatever you do, you're going to be in the wrong, so do nothing. And so I took my mother's advice, and she was right. And now my son's going to be 27, and I'm still not a grandma. I think I put the fear my children so well of being responsible that I am never going to become a grandmother.
I'm sure that's not true.
Cause yeah.
It'll happen someday.
Yeah, they're gonna wait till I'm old. I want, keep them alive, get grandchildren.
Are you ready for grandchildren right now? You think?
What was that?
Are you ready for grandchildren? Do you think?
I would love to have grandkids. Although I think my son's children are going to be his mother-in-law's grandkids, if you know what I mean.
You think they'll be over there more or something?
Oh, yeah. And so I'm going to have to talk Natalie into having a kid or two so I can have grandchildren.
Oh.
And yes, XIW, you want to be young enough to enjoy them. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. But you want like that moment that you don't have kids to worry about anymore as far as raising, and a little bit of time to yourself before that happens. Like that's what I'm waiting. I'm like, please let me be free for a little while.
Well,
I'm going to be all over when I have grandkids.
All three of us had kids fairly young and entered into adulthood being mothers. So, yeah, the knowing what to do when the kids are raised thing. But, both Monica and I have the whole kid on the spectrum thing that.
Yeah, I got my kids. I got to keep that won't leave. You're leaving anytime soon. I don't need no grandbabies.
Yeah. When you have an extra needs child, your job is never going to be done.
No.
And so.
True. Makes it harder, Yeah,
and I
mean, you always hope, especially for your kids on the spectrum, you always hope that because they mature at a different level, you hope that just in time they're gonna get there. And you might see, like for me, and I know Heather, we've talked about this, you see little improvements and that gives you some hope. But it's probably the hardest thing I think I've ever had to deal with is that you have hopes and dreams for your kids.
Yeah.
Well, I come from a rough background, and I was out on my own at 16 and I've had lots of trauma. I'm a street kid that's the streets raised me personally. So for me, one of the things I always wanted was for my kids to have a better life than I had.
Oh, absolutely. We always
do. I guess that is one thing for sure with for the spectrum that made sure that happened. But, you want more for them. You want them to have the things that you didn't have. And so when you have one that's on the spectrum and you realize there's a chance they might not have that regular life that everybody, has, that's really can be hard, for you to have to deal with, but then to also help them accept too, and then on top of, I know for me, the older you get, you start to wonder, okay, what if something happens to me? Or at some point something's going to happen to me. Where are they going to go? You know what I mean? Because, like my son, he is more independent. Like I don't have to worry about that with him, or I know, okay, his past going to be very different than hers, and that's going to be, I think that's when it's going to be hard for her is when she sees him graduate and then go to college, and she graduated, but the college part has been more, that hasn't, that stuff, or she can't work, so that becomes more difficult. Mm-hmm. It's hard, for that, so I mean, I hope someday maybe he has, I mean, he's only 16, so not anytime soon, but that he'll have kids, but I think there's a part, and I don't know how they're for you, but for my kids, I think there's this part because he went through this phase of, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids, for whatever reason. But I do think a part of that was knowing someday I'm going to have to take care of my sister.
Yeah. I tell Jeremy because Jeremy needs to get his GED because he did not graduate high school. The so frustrating thing was I didn't receive any accommodations. I'm dyslexic, and I went to 10 schools, and I dropped out of high school, but then I went back and got my diploma. And so I'm like, okay, for him, we made sure he had an IEP, so he had accommodations. He went through a dyslexia program. The kid reads better than I do, and I couldn't get him to stay in school. We tried everything, but I refused to do his work for him. That's no. I know people who have done that for their kids, and no, my children's accomplishes have to be their own. Yeah. I'll support them and help them, but not do it for them. And so Jeremy, he can get a job. If you are familiar with high functioning autism, you just think he's weird because he is weird. But he's capable of handling more than what he will do. And so we had the conversation just days ago. I'm like, go to Smith's. That's the Kroger here in Utah. And I'm like, I've been telling him this since he turned 16. Go to Smith's, become a bagger. And I have my horror story. The Smith's that I worked at, the parking lot was a hill, and that was the coldest winter it had been in years, and it was below zero. It was a sheet of ice. I weighed 115 pounds, and I survived that winter being a bagger and taking groceries out for old ladies. My perfectly healthy 19-year-old son, who they don't even require you to take groceries out like they did back in the day. And I'm like, because he's like, I don't want to be a bagger. I'm like, no one wants to be a bagger. And I'm like, but it would be perfect because, when you go to the grocery store, the older baggers are, you can tell there's a little something extra going on with them. He would fit in fine. And I can't get the kid to do jack crap. And I'm like, so this is what I get for trying to give my kids a better life. One that's never going to grow up. Because, I'm sure it was do or die, the growing up. There was no option in it. Yeah, and so, I wanted to give Jeremy, make things easier, but then did I make things too easy? I don't know. It is very difficult. And I tell him, one day your dad's going to die and I'm going to die, and your siblings don't want you living in their basement. So you got to do something.
Is he good with computers and stuff?
Is he good with what?
The computers and stuff?
Video games. He's really good with video games.
Well, then he probably is really good with,
He could, yeah. He's got a laptop that doesn't work so well, but if he wants a new one, he can go buy one with the money that he gets from the job he doesn't have.
I was just thinking he could probably do like kind of, work from home type job.
Those are hard to find.
Yeah,
I can do those surveys. Tyrone used to do random surveys and stuff.
That requires talking to people, and Jeremy's
video game trials.
I'll be right back.
Doing video game trials and stuff too.
Jeremy does have social skills. He is socially awkward, but he can do it. I know kids on the spectrum who just won't do it, get out there and talk to people when they have to. And Jeremy will. And that was something I required of him as a child, is that he learned the basics of how to get by out in the public, just like his older siblings. So, but no, it's frustrating because I know he can do things.
Yeah.
And
well, I've spoken a bit, in the background. He's super smart.
Yeah.
When you talk
he's freaky smart. He's just stubborn. His ODD tends to rule. And I don't know, if I'm sounding frustrated, it's because I am. And as far as my parenting skills, once he hit 18, my parenting skills have just tanked. Man.
I noticed as I get older, I know how to deal with what's going on. It's like out of my face. I can't deal
Yeah,
with
trying to be a good example and be responsible. And we have this family group text, and which is awesome because then I get to hear what's going on with my adult kids on a more regular basis. And I was like, when did dropping the F-bomb in front of your mother become a thing?
Ask my 11-year-old why he's okay. Finding out that he's got some friends that he hangs around with from school that they're really some bad children, I think, and they're turning him into a little monster.
Then, but no, it's just, I don't know, like I said, when I'm just like, whatever, they're adults.
I don't think he needs to be going over to his little dude's house because it's getting worse. But he has the ADHD, and I think he needs to be tested for Tourette's because my son will scream out some crazy stuff. And
interesting.
It's a complete embarrassing situation in public, though. Like, he's constantly on 10, even after he's had his medications. They've adjusted them. He can get way out there to the point where I'm just like, let's go. Let's get out of the store. I can't deal with it anymore because it's just too much. Like, he likes to say the most outlandish stuff and see how people react to
it. So his filter, I have had to work really hard on my filter. I don't know if it's part of the bipolar or just my personality, but having a filter has not been something that's come natural to me. Because something my daughter's horrible about it too, but something just comes to my mind and then it comes out of my mouth and then everybody like goes quiet. I look around like, what? Like, you're not all thinking it? So I have, that is something as an adult I have tried to do, is maybe I don't necessarily use the filter, but have one for, like I said, when I do go to church activities for the year.
Right. Well, it looks like it's about 4:30, so we've been on here for an hour and a half. Did you have, Monica? I know you had asked about how long it would run, and I didn't want to keep you up.
No, I'm fine. My car's not going to be done. So.
Monica's not going anywhere anyway.
But, I was gonna go ahead and start wrapping it up unless y'all got something else you want to share, and you can give a final shout out about your channel and the Facebook group that let me see if I still have that copied and I could share that again.
I can grab it too real quick.
Yep.
You got it?
Yep. I put it right there in the chat, and if y'all would like to check out some of the things that she has available for sale and that she's been making, go over to her Facebook group and follow and like on it.
Yeah. If you have any questions too, I mean, I know April, with the Cricut, I mean, I'm not the pro or anything, but I definitely can try to help. Like, if you're struggling with something, give some tips or walk you through something. So definitely, or if you want any of the products I've made or something custom, like I said, even with the junk journals, I have probably 200-300 junk journal or little golden books. So I have lots. Like, if there's a specific one you want, I definitely probably have it or can search for it. So yeah, I mean, you can go check out my YouTube. There's not much on there.
You get a better idea about you since you've been
right. Yeah, there's old stuff and there's lots of different things on there. Well, I don't know. And with all the new rules with YouTube, I'm so afraid to I don't want to get sued and all that stuff.
I heard that everybody's getting hypersensitive over ridiculous stuff.
Well, how does it, especially because my daughter looks younger, some of our videos we ended up just taking down because we didn't know, we didn't want anything to come back on us. But
that's why I just put everything to not for children. And that way I don't have any limitation unless I can't do horrible things or whatever.
Right.
Kid friendly or anything.
But yeah, I mean, if you guys have questions, definitely hit me up.
All right. Yep. She knows way more about using the Cricut than I do. I'm still learning how to use it, but I appreciate
I'm still learning too. I learn new stuff every day.
And Monica being here today and sharing her information. And you can come back anytime you want to join us. Like I said, probably next week I might be working on that wreath for the.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how you do that.
All right, then, guys, we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.